Welcome to episode 18 of A Fighting Chance. I'm Jared. We've got Salvador.
Hey.
And another extremely exciting episode for me to announce. We have Damon Jackson. Thank you so much for being here. It's really awesome to have you. I really appreciate it.
For sure, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You were just telling us that you just got home from day at the office teaching wrestling practice. That's super cool. I was listening to you today on the MMA Hour and talking about how you've had this, the full time of training and as a trainer and a coach for your entire career.
Yeah.
And that probably makes you basically described how fighting is like it's this, it's not your full source of your income. It's more of like this hobby that you are just absolutely nasty at doing.
Yeah.
and I'm sure that maybe for the last 5-6 fights has been like less pressure because you've got this whole other side gig or not a side gig, but you've got this life that will always pay the bills and everything, that everything is just about improving your skill.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's something you learn kind of like you get built up through the rankings. And when you're a local, like young regional fighter, it's really hard to make a living off fighting. So, you got to work in the middle. You have to. And it's hard to survive off fighting no matter what. No matter how much you make, it's still kind of, it's hit and miss with everything. You got taxes, coaches, all the training, everything like that, travel. So there's a lot to it. So, if you're not working, you're doing it wrong for sure.
Well, I got to tell you, man, I've been a huge UFC fan for basically a little bit before the pandemic started. For me, sitting in front of anything TV wise is not the easiest thing to do. I lost my eyesight when I was 11, so sitting in front of a UFC fight, I think is pretty hard for people to understand. Like, well, how is he even into it? But it's something that I find it's very therapeutic for me. Like even like getting into the stories of fighters is something that I've described to people. Like I've basically been fighting my whole life, like since I was 11. Like I you deal with things, you fight through things, you overcome things, and it's just talking to fighters not just talking, but like listening to their stories is something that is extremely relatable when you have somebody who like wears, puts their heart out there, tells their whole story, puts their emotion out there. And I got to just tell you right off the bat that you definitely, as far as since I've been into the UFC, you really got me this year. Your story, what you went through that fight week. I've had a lot of loss in my life, and I knew when they were talking, when you were going out there for that fight. And it was funny because like that whole, like Pat Sabatini, because I've been into it, and you listen to like a Paul Felder who's hyping up Pat Sabatini for years.
Yep.
Like that's his boy. So like you listen to him, and he almost brainwashes you. Like I don't mean that like in a negative way, because
it's their job.
He's also it is their job, but he's also amazing. But as soon as they're talking about you and what you were going through that week. I lost my dad when I was 25 to a heart attack, and I just know that feeling of nothing's gonna stop you. When you're experiencing a loss, like it's just like, okay, cool. Like, and I knew when you were walking out there, I didn't know it was gonna end in 1 minute and 9 seconds, but it was, man. I just the only other time this year that I feel like I could have cried with the person who won was when Leon Edwards beat Kamara. And in that moment, I was just like, because you just felt his whole, every ounce of, struggle from his journey in that moment, and just like pouring out of him in this like larger than life way that you just, people who put so much effort into becoming, every day you're just trying to improve on something and get recognized for what you're doing. They deserve it. They deserve that moment of shine. And you listen to you in the octagon and you hear your family cheering for you. And it's literally one of the most beautiful moments that I've experienced watching anything on television, but watching fights in particular, because that's honestly all I care about is watching fights and being into this. So first of all, thank you for just honestly everything you've said about that experience, everything afterwards, and the way that you conducted the whole week, because it's so true. Like, you have to protect yourself. You have to keep going through something. Like, you couldn't not take that fight, and like that was
Yeah.
very apparent every time somebody asked you that. And it's like, of course, you had to still and stay focused on the task at hand. And it was
Yeah.
just, thank you. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, because it's people at home, they need something like that. They need to feel something like that. I mean, that's what, like, I mean, you look at like a talent show, and that they base their entire talent show off of, like, making these like a sob story, and they cut and chop them up, and most of them are fabricated, and getting a real one in real time of an emotion that we all, or not even we've all experienced, but the ones of us who have experienced a loss from a loved one like that, it hits home, because not everybody has lost a family member in a way like that. And I play music. I've been in bands my whole life, touring, and
Yeah.
the 2 days after my father passed away, we had a show at the Troubadour, which is a huge venue in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And me and my band drove there in the van that my dad passed away in, and it was like, still, it haunts me, because there was no way we could have skipped that gig.
Yeah.
And it was because he was like our band manager and our
Yeah.
biggest supporter, and it was just like,
Yeah.
we just put it all out there. And
Oh, yeah.
like, I was talking to my wife this morning about that experience, because I was just like, it's just, when I'm listening to you, and I'm like, I can relate to that moment, like that when you were in there, because like I just laid it all out there when I was playing that show that night, and it was just like, I don't know, it was all I could think about was my dad, and
it's
nothing
nice.
else mattered.
Yeah, it's nice to get out there and just get back to doing what your normal, like your normal life. It's just like it's real easy to sit around and when you're bored and you're not doing anything, to start thinking negative and have these negative thoughts in your head. So it's like, if you stay busy and keep moving forward, it's just the best way to get past any of it. And to keep moving forward is, it's crucial. You have to keep doing it and keep fighting. That's it.
Every time when I listen to you, even right now, like if I listen to you on the MMA Hour, listening to you right now, listening to you on post-fight speeches, like you're a very lovable person. Like there's a kindness to just the way you speak, and it's just it comes through. You're obviously a family man, like, so it just it's very cool. The way you speak about, I know it's like you and your wife's 10-year anniversary, so congratulations to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have had like a very cool story of
Oh,
you know yeah
yeah, met her. Yeah, we met like first semester in college, and she came home to visit me, and then she hit me up a couple of weeks later. And she's like, when she got back home, she's like, "Hey, I'm late." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "You're gonna be a dad." I'm like, so I was like, it was just something we've been together since we were kids. We were 19, and she's been right there with me the whole time. All the way through all my fights, all my wrestling, college, in the UFC, out of the UFC, getting back there. Like, she's been a huge supporter, one of my number one supporters. It's just like, she cooks clean when it's fight week or fight, camp, and she changes things up as much as she can and helps me out, and just a huge support. And, definitely surrounded by a lot of people like that. My mom and dad took me everywhere, like for wrestling or for, training or whatever I needed. They definitely helped me out. And, just family's important for sure. But, just that whole fight and keep moving forward. It means a lot to my family. Like, my whole family's like that. So, it just meant a lot to go out there and have a good performance and get the finish.
That's awesome. So how long did you know your wife when she told you that? Like, how long had you guys
No,
been together?
About 2 months. And so
Okay, so
we've been together for my oldest daughter is 13. She'll be 14 in March. And so we've been together for almost 15 years. And, we didn't get married till after we were out of college, because we both were like, we're going to make this work as much as we can, make sure that, we don't just get married because we have a kid. And we moved out of the dorms and we moved in together, and we've been together, ever since, so it's just, it's definitely, I've had a lot of people that were on my team that had kids that had horrible relationships with their baby
yeah,
mamas or their whatever. It's like, it's just for me. I knew that once, like when we met, we got along so well. But whenever that we all found all that stuff out, it was just kind of like I didn't even hesitate. Like I knew that was going to happen. So
Yeah, but still at 19, I mean that's a
yeah,
lot
it's a
to
lot.
process.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How was that for you? Was it like did it like rise to the occasion
I
kind of
mean,
thing, or was it
I literally, oh yeah, no, I love kids. I love working with kids, and having my own kids was going to happen, at some point anyway. So it was, I think having kids young too is so big in a lot of ways because like, not that young. It's you got to make sure you finish college, kids. Like
right?
don't go out there and do anything crazy. But I think being a young parent, it's really cool because I get to. Teach kids the stuff that I just went through, like, just a couple of years ago, like not that long ago. I'm going through the same thing they're going through right now. And so having kids young was, it's crazy in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways, it's like really cool too.
My my wife's parents conceived her on their first date.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're still together, and they have like two beautiful daughters,
Yeah.
and it's a really cool story. And then because I always had parents that they're slightly like, how there's parents who are older, and then there's like the middle like of the road
Yeah.
parents, and
Yeah.
there's like some parents who had like when they were young. I was always really upset like with my parents. I was like, oh no, because like when I'm like 30, you guys are gonna be like very old. Like
Yeah.
so I was always really like, I don't know, because I know what you're saying about having not as much gap in between the age, because like it's more relatable, like you understand more of
Yeah.
what they're going through. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely see that.
That's, yeah. I mean, there's pros to both. I mean, you can be more prepared and, have things laid out a little better if you wait. But, I had them young and just rolled with it.
Yeah, it's all about maturity at the end of the day, and there's no rule book for anything. I could be 40 and have kids and still not know what to do with any of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
situations
No,
of
I
life.
see a lot of it. Yeah.
And your daughter, your eldest daughter, is wrestling like pretty seriously now,
Yeah.
or
And
what's?
that's why I just left her practice. We were drilling for about an hour and a half, me and her drilling. And so, like I just told my kids, I'm like, whatever they want to do, they can do it. And I would never, I love athletics, like, any sport,
Mhm.
I love it. And my kids, whatever sport they want to do, I'm like, let's go. I'll take you, whatever, we'll drill,
Yeah.
whatever, we'll practice and do whatever we can. And with wrestling, I have four girls. I never wanted any of them to wrestle because wrestling's a tough sport, and it's not something you don't want to see your daughter get cross faced, and you don't want to see them get hurt. And wrestling's a really physical sport, so I was very hesitant. And whenever I saw that it was going to be all girls practice, all girls tournaments, all girls everything, so once I saw that, I was cool with her doing it, and she killed it, man. She's killing it right now. And then my two younger ones after her, my 11-year old, my 9-year old, they're wrestling also. So it's cool to watch them because in seventh grade, that's when I started wrestling, and they're already like better than me whenever I first started in seventh grade. So it's cool to watch them and see them evolve through the season.
That must be wild, like at your house, like having just all of your daughters wrestling each other. Like, because if
Yeah,
when I was with my friends, like as a kid, like we were just constantly beating the shit out of each other. And if you
yeah,
had, and if I had three daughters or four daughters, I would never imagine in the world I'd be like, oh no, they're just gonna, be girly girls or something like that. But then next thing you know, they're like, oh my god, like they're doing exactly what I would want them to do.
no, they fish, they hunt, they play sports. So it's about like I mean that was my whole childhood was fishing, hunting, playing sports, and that's about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Sal was telling me he sees a lot of like hunting stuff that you do on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I just took my buddy out and got him a pretty big deer. He got a nice 14 point, and we were out there for a couple days and just chilling. It's a nice little getaway.
And you're in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a Traeger? Do you like smoke some meats, or what do you do?
I don't do a lot, honestly. I
Uh-huh.
do. So whenever I get something, I go to the processing place and I have them process. I do a lot of like sausage and a lot of like things that like like ground up meat, and I use it for like inside. But honestly, I'm not a big fan of cooking the meat myself. I like to have my wife or someone else like cook it because I feel like every time I cook it, it just if I cook like a big chunk of it. it tastes too gamey. So it's like
Really?
if I don't have it ground up, or if I don't have some like seasoning in it, I feel like it just tastes like too gamey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a big food guy, like outside of hunting? Like,
I mean, no, not really. I'm pretty basic. I just stick with, heavy protein, light carbs, and very light sugar. I just stick with like a basic diet, and I'm not picky at all. I've never really gotten into food just because of wrestling. Just always watching my weight year round and stuff, and it just never really got to me like that.
hey, that's probably the best approach. It's
For
better than a
sure.
lot of people putting on 50 pounds in between
Yeah, that's
fights.
crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'm like 30 pounds is what I usually walk around, about 70, 75. So it's a big cut for me, but it's an easy cut whenever if I have 6 weeks, I can get it done, like no problem, like very easy. If I had 2 weeks, I could get it done. Like, you know,
That's what I was telling Sal the other day. Because like right now I'm 190, and I told him I could easily be 170 like in 2 weeks if I wanted to. Because like I don't know, I've done basically every form of the way you eat, like call it a diet or whatever. But like I work out like a madman, and I know my body that it's like, okay, cool. If I'm eating enough calories, I'm gonna be at like 185 to 190, and if I wanted to, it's just like cut this out, work out, twice as much. You're gonna be 20 pounds less in like a week and a half if you want it to be.
yeah, you could get there quick. Yeah, it's got to be able to push it.
Yeah, pushing it's the best feeling though. In my opinion, the pushing through a workout is the best way on planet Earth to get out of your head.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
So, are you getting pretty excited for this? Like, what's the feeling right now, being this like close to such an awesome fight coming up?
Just typical stuff, like I'm prepping my body for weight cuts, cardio's heavy, doing plenty of, technique and stuff, and just drilling everything I'm going to go over for my game plan. Just getting to hit that as much as I can. And it's, when you start losing the weight and you start getting your, body right for the final, couple weeks, it's like, it starts kicking in, you realize that it's real and the fight's coming. So, that's kind of what I feel like right now. I feel like the fight's here. It's right around the corner. I've got to push it hard.
Aside from like the nerves of knowing that you have to get in a cage and fight, um, do you like mentally, does him being ranked and this being a big step up kind of affect you, or is it just let's go in there and bang?
No, I just I never really got into the whole ranking system and stuff like that. Like I want to be ranked because I want to work my way to the title, and I know that's the only way to do it. But it's like he's a fighter at the end of the day. You guys see what happens with like Kamaru Usman. Look at that fight. Like how does he lose that fight? I mean, how like that's
Right.
crazy. And then you see these fighters, man. Like you're human. Yeah, you got to realize that. And some people get away with it longer than others, but everybody gets found out at some point. And I just want to make sure that I'm prepared and I'm pushing myself the right way, and I'm ready to go because I know he's gonna be ready. I know his back's on the wall right now. He's gonna be fighting like a dog, and I'm ready for that.
Do you get excited for this kind of matchup because he's
Oh, hell
someone who
yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, he's been tested by everybody. He just fought, not that long ago, he just fought Josh Emmett, who's now fighting for the title. So like
right?
he's the guy, man. He's the guy that is he's the tester of, all these big guys, and Korean Zombie, Josh Emmett, Calvin Cater, the Russian dude, Malvar. It's like he's a dog, man, and they know that. I think that everybody's making a big deal of the fact that he's on a 3-fight losing streak, but you look at the people that he fought and how close the fights were. I don't feel like his back's on the wall. I think more just mentally him knowing that he doesn't want to lose to me coming in from outside the top 15. I think that's what's going to push him the hardest. And I think that's why he's going to be more motivated. But I think that he's pretty safe as far as like sticking with the UFC, and they're not going to cut him. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, well, I didn't see it happen, but don't be afraid to use those front kicks.
hey, I'll whatever it takes, man. I'll throw kicks, I'll punch, I'll slam, whatever I got to do.
That must have been a pretty wild moment though, landing that front kick and just
Yeah.
pouncing and just
It's kind of
knowing.
like, when like I throw that all the time in practice, and I pull it off a lot of times too, where I pull back on the kick because I don't want to hurt my teammates and stuff.
Right.
And so what I usually do is I put the bottom of my foot in their face. And so it's more of like a punch than it doesn't hurt their chin and their neck.
Yeah.
So I push them in the face. And it's funny because like if the mats are dirty and then you look up and you see dirt on their face, and it's like, that's like the most disrespectful thing. And,
Yeah.
so, but I see it all the time in practice. I just don't throw it because I'm like, I don't even like sparring. I don't like hitting people. I don't like punching my friends. Like, it's just, it takes a lot for me to like bring that fight out. And, just with when you land a kick like that, that you've been drilling for years and years and years, and to actually land in the fight and it making fall like that was just pretty awesome.
So what gets you to throw it that quick in the fight though? Like what
It's
voice pops in
there.
your
No,
head?
I mean it's whenever it's fight time, it's fight time. If I'm gonna take someone's head off and shit happens, I have
Yeah.
no. It's like, yeah, I see stuff in practice, and I definitely there's sometimes where I hit someone and I kind of feel bad for it because I'm like, this is practice. I don't want to take my teammate out because now that's another guy I can't use or whatever.
Right.
And that's how my whole team's like that. Everybody's super cautious, but when they see something, they know it's there. They might even tell you like, hey, you're dropping your hand or whatever. And like, so when you're in a fight, it's completely different because like it's on your permanent record. You're out there fighting for your name, you're fighting for your career, you're fighting for your rankings, your money, like your finance. It's like everything
Yeah.
matters when it's fight time. And I don't give a crap what sob story anyone else has. I don't care about what's going on in their life. I know what's important in my life, and I know losing this fight is going to take this away from me, and that's all I care about. And what I want is, to win every fight. And I'm coming in for this fight. I'll be ready to go.
We've had a few fighters on already that have talked about not really enjoying fighting as just a career. Are you one of those guys who's just like
Man,
you gotta
nah.
get it done?
This is my favorite thing. This is like every day. I literally I prep my entire day, my week, my month, my year. Is my vacations with my family, my time spent with my family, my kids' birthdays, my freaking mine and my wife's 10-year anniversary. Everything
Yeah.
is kind of, and I don't take anything away from them and from that. I just like, I know what's important to me, and they know what's important to me, and I have one chance at this. It's not like you can run it back. There's plenty of time for me to like celebrate birthdays and to eat bad food and to enjoy my, leisure, my time on like, outside the training. It's like there's plenty of time for that when I'm done fighting. And right now it's so important for me to like go all in because I know this from wrestling and I know this from baseball. It's like once it's over, it's over. And, there's no turning back. So I'm out there fighting every time like it's, last time I'll get in there.
Will you sit down and watch the UFCs?
Oh yeah, I'll watch them all the time. Yeah, and I'll
Did you
continue. I'll be a fan forever. I definitely.
did you watch 282?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was it's a questionable card. It was like kind of like it was amped up a little bit, and the fight fell off, and then like it was like whatever. They had to make the best of every card when something like that happens, and it's bound to happen every time. But like the week before that, the fight night was 10 times better than that. Orlando,
The
yeah.
I was actually
Orlando
at
was great.
Orlando. Orlando was my first.
Orlando was on fire. I mean, that was insane. The whole card was like, oh my god, like crazy.
It was my first MMA event ever. It was the first UFC or MMA event that I've ever been to, and
Yeah,
I was telling somebody yesterday. I was just like, because I'm relying on commentary. I'm relying on
oh yeah,
something of
yeah.
audio. So it's like I'm sitting in the stands. I'm like, you can't even hear Keith Peterson doing the "Sir, are you ready?" Like you can't
Yeah.
hear anything.
Nah, it's the
So
energy is different, man. I can't wait to get back in front of a crowd, man. I can't wait.
I know I can't believe you've been at the Apex every single fight for the
It's
last
all
six
right.
fights.
It's yeah, my last, 6 have been there, and I just like it is what it is, man. I'm just I'm here to perform, and I want to get those wins. And like if I'm in practice, I treat the practice the same way as a fight. Like as far as like competing, I'm gonna win the
Hmm.
round. I'm gonna win the position. I'm gonna beat whoever it is on whatever position I can win. I take it personal. I try to win everything for sure.
Do you feel the lack of the crowd, or it's just are you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I used to sell out crowds here in Dallas, for LFA, and I would have everybody in there, screaming for me and cheering them, and like, it's a different energy for sure. The whole you pick someone up and slam them, and then everybody's like, like they freak out or the dumbest stuff. And I'm like, that was not that cool. Like, it's just funny, but I miss fans for sure. I want to do a shoey. I want to jump on the cage and chug some
Are you
beer.
gonna
And,
do it
oh hell yeah!
after this
I
one? Yeah.
can't. It's like the apex. You're not allowed to jump on the cage.
Oh man,
But
do
Damon,
they fine you or something?
they say they will, but I have never seen a fine handed out. But yeah, I'm a
I
roll
wanted so
fall.
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted so badly to be able to do a shoey at Orlando, but it didn't
yeah.
go Ty's way. It was
And
it was very sad.
poor
I was like,
dude.
oh,
He's a
That was
I
tough
rough.
guess my
dude.
shoe's
Yeah,
staying on.
yeah. No,
But honestly, okay, so the fights were incredible in Orlando, but the crowd was so disrespectful to good things going on during the fights. Like there'd be like
yeah.
technical grappling going on, and you just hear like people were doing the wave. There was booze going on left and right. Like it
Yeah.
was sad.
Yeah, like people go there for entertainment. So like people that aren't educated in the sport, they don't understand the positioning and the every little basic detail with jujitsu, wrestling, punching, ground and pound. Like they don't understand it all. So like that's why I was saying like they freak out over things that aren't that big a deal. Like a takedown, it's like they freak out over that. I'm like, that's not the end of it. Like we gotta keep going. But it's just that the sport's grown so much and the people are actually 10 times more educated than whenever I first started fighting. It was like, oh, you do UFC? I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, no,
No, I know.
I fight in the local show. I'm fighting over at the
Yeah.
the skating rink over here. I'm like, no, I'm not fighting the UFC, idiot.
It's so true. People really it's very funny how much people don't understand certain things. And same thing going with like being in bands. They're like, "Oh, are like how much are you making for playing this show?" I'm like, "I'm the opener." Like, they're like, "But you're in an arena." I'm like, "I'm not making $1."
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to build it up, man. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, they were booing. Which one was the big one? They were booing Matt Schnell
Angela
and
Hill.
no, but Matt Schnell versus Mateus Nicolau. They were
Yeah.
booing
Yeah.
that fight, which was a crazy fight.
It was a scrap, man. I don't know what I didn't know they were booing. I was watching, he's my teammate, so I was watching that fight, and I didn't know they were booing him at all. But that was a scrap, man. That was a tough fight.
Your head coach is safe,
Yeah.
dude. He every single time I was telling Sal this, I said every single time that there's a fighter at Fortis, I'm just like listening to him coach, and I'm
Yep.
like, he's always giving sound information.
No, he's
Like,
he's next level. It's like it's not even fair because like you gotta be smart enough to just like shut up and listen when you get around him. Like when you're in practice or when you're in a fight, he'll give you like some like very straightforward advice, but it means a lot because it's like exactly what you need to hear. And he has to get emotional with you and be like, "Hey, wake the hell up!" And then you're like, "Okay, well, I'm not doing something right," or keep your hands up, whatever it is. He's pretty much he's right 100% time, and even when you think he's not right, he's probably right, and you probably don't want to hear it. So it's like
right.
you got to shut up and listen when you get around him for sure.
And you're opening up a Fortis now?
Yeah, yeah, in Rockwall. So right here where I live, I've been coaching wrestling for years here, and I want to have my own place for the youth program and then for the middle schoolers and the high schoolers that when they get off season. So
That's awesome.
needs to happen. Yep,
Congrats. That's really cool.
yeah,
It seems like a really tight team. Like
for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Do you guys watch a lot of film when you're in camp?
Yeah, I mean, we don't watch it together as a team or anything, but we watch like with me and coach, we'll both watch it, we'll discuss it, and then we'll watch it together a little bit and we'll discuss it again. And then usually after that, we have a game plan, and the whole camp is about the game plan and what we're going to do or not going to do. And that's kind of what we've done for forever. We watch it once or twice and that's it. I watch it all the time, but we watch it together, once or twice and then that's it.
So you think that is very important? Because I know there's guys that just go in there like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I don't have to watch.
That's really not smart. I think that you have to respect everyone's abilities, and I think that people have tendencies they do every single fight. So if you can break those down and see those small baby step details that someone's skipping out on, and you can go in there and take advantage of that, it's like even if you just do it once, you might only need once. You might get it once and take them down and sub them. So
Yeah.
I think it's important for sure.
Like I know you said you drilled that up kick for a while,
Oh
just
yeah.
but is that an opening that you saw in film? Like he's open to that up
100%.
kick, or
Every time, so he would like he like feints and he goes elbows wide, elbows wide. So he
oh,
like
okay.
he let that center line open, and I thought he would be hitting those feints, and whenever I would feint, he would wrestle, and that's kind of what he
Mhm.
was looking like. He wanted to wrestle, so I would go southpaw orthodox, and every time I would switch, he wouldn't know if I was wrestling or boxing. And so once I landed, I think I landed like maybe a jab or maybe I feinted a jab. I didn't even throw the jab, and then I hit the feints a couple of times, and every time I did it, he got wider and wider. So I think that whenever I hit that last level change, he thought I was 100% wrestling, and so he dropped his hands and went. They elbows went wide, and it was just good timing.
So also you got him to hesitate.
Yep, just that one time. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
So at UFC 280, only 2 fights went to the judges. It went the co-main event and then the main event. Everything else was an amazing finish of a submission or a
Hmm.
TKO or a
Yeah.
full-on knockout. What did you how did you feel about the judging in the last 2 fights?
Like you can talk shit and say whatever you want about judges and whatever. Like they're in a really like referees and judges are in a really crappy spot because they're having to make a decision on the fly that everyone's going to talk about. That
Yeah,
everyone sees, everybody hears, whatever. So like stopping a fight early. I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm like, dude, you were hurt, you were rocked, you were like wobbly, you were like looking away, or you weren't protecting yourself 100%, and that's their job.
right.
And then a judge is like, how do you judge a fight? Like, everybody's got their own preference. Everybody's a kind of a fan in a different way, and everybody sees things in different ways, and they listen to the coaches, they hear people, the crowd screaming at the wrong times when the guy is not really landing anything, but it looks like he's winning the fight, and it sounds like he's winning the fight. It's like that's what people go off of. And so judges are the same as everybody else. It's like they have their own way of seeing the fight, hearing the fight, feeling about the fight. So it's, is what it is. You got to finish fights if you don't want that, to go in their hands.
When they said unanimous decision, did you think there was any chance that Patty was going to be the name called?
Oh, I knew. I knew 100%. You have those one judges that'll go like it's like uh 28, 28, 29,
Mhm.
29, and then it's 30, 27. You're like, what? Like like it's like everybody sees the fights different. Everybody it's different for everyone. So it's like you got to be expecting that, man. He's a fan favorite. Those judges are fans. Those referees are fans a little bit. So it's
So
is
they
what
are
it
being
is.
swayed. They are being swayed based off of a popularity contest.
I mean, you could argue that. You could say that for sure. I mean, who wants the what's the other guy's name? I don't even know his name. Gordon.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Yeah.
his fight. I've heard about Patty for the last 4 years, and I never even knew his freaking name until he like came on and just he's like got this stupid haircut, and he's like, everybody's like talking about Patty, Patty, Patty the Batty, and he's entertaining as hell. Like, why would you not want him to be the champ? Like, why would you not want Bryce Mitchell? Why would you not want these guys to be the champs of the divisions whenever they're getting the most views? Like, people like to see it. It's funny to me. Like Colby Covington, he just run his mouth all the time. And you're like, I want to see this guy get hit in the face, or I want to see him win. And either way, you're watching him. So Patty's he's an
Abs-
entertaining dude.
no, I really do agree with you, but there is a difference in the top level guys
Yeah,
who are talking, who are
yeah,
the ones talking. Like a Colby Covington, he's pretty top level fighter also
yeah.
and talking.
But how
And
do you
then
how do you how do you get on a pay-per-view co-main event when you're three or four fights into your UFC career? Like that means that people are watching you. The UFC is not stupid. They understand the game of social media. They understand the who wants to interview you. Who wants to talk about you, like good or bad, whatever. That they know what they're doing.
yeah, but it, I cared so much about I mean, there's a lot of people who are some of the best fighters who don't have, a million clicks on an eating video.
It's all right.
So,
Yeah. No, it is what it is. Step your game up, I guess.
yeah,
I don't want to bitch about that. I just want to go out there and fight. So that's why I don't do any of that. But I would never complain about it because I think that what they do like with McGregor coming in and he would
right.
run his mouth, but then he backed it up. He run his mouth and backed it up. And so I think Patty's not skill level on the same level as McGregor, but I think that his the way that he gets people talking about him and watching his fights, he's on that level to get there. Sean O'Malley, same way. He's not skill level ready to be that guy, but he gets people watching him for sure.
Sean Strickland's media day today
Yeah.
for his fight this weekend, or I don't know when, but his media day was truly off the walls. Like it was, it's like, what is going to come out of this dude's mouth next?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm sure I'll hear about it.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Yeah.
It's like a blast from the past of just somebody who used to be just completely unfiltered. I mean, because those are the times we used to live in.
Yeah.
But
How do you feel about those media days? Like, because I know they're pretty long sometimes.
Hey man,
Is
it's
it
part
just
of it, man. How's anyone else going to tune in and watch you if they don't want to hear, like, people want to hear your story a little bit. They want to know that you're actual human and they know that you have thoughts of whatever. So like the media is super important. That's why like when people reach out to me, I'm like, yep, let's do it. Let's do an interview, whatever. Because it matters in a lot of ways. It's you got to get out there and either do it yourself and be the Patty, or you got to go out there and suck it up and do the media.
yeah, I mean, it definitely over the past few years, there's a handful of fighters that I connect with, like on like an emotional level, that I'm like, if we were in the same city, this would be my new best friend. Like,
Yeah.
it just they get to you in a sense. Like it's very different than something that seems fabricated.
For sure.
But and you definitely come off as a real dude who, since honestly, like I will say, since your last fight, you're somebody who I'm extremely rooting for.
I appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate the support.
Yeah. How's everybody in your family doing after the loss? Everybody,
Just trying to get back to normal. Everybody's, kind of doing their thing.
Yeah.
Family's always busy. Everybody kind of has their own thing and, just keep moving forward. We still talk about it, often. I think that it's brought us closer together for sure. We hit each other up. Like I talk to my sister more than I have in a while. And my parents, I talk to my dad almost every day. And I talk to my mom, 4 or 5 days a week. And, everybody's just checking in on each other and, just going with it and trying to figure it out as we go.
And is the name Stan? Are you?
Oh yeah,
are you officially
100%.
action?
Yeah, 100%. Like it just,
I'm
it's a
glad to
good,
hear that.
it's a good reminder. It's like my brother is 38, like 37. So it's like for him to like just magically be here and then be gone. It's like, who's to say that doesn't happen to whoever. So it's like
Right.
it's a constant reminder, just taking advantage of the day-to-day stuff and just how important life is and what's important and what's not. It's just a good reminder for sure.
Well, I love that you're keeping the name, because it definitely applies to the way you are currently going out there and getting things done. So I can't wait.
Rolls off the tongue nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was his football nickname, so it was like I heard it my whole entire childhood. I would hear it on the intercom the whole time. So, it just makes sense to me to hear it.
That's awesome. How do you feel about because I know you're a big family guy. How do you feel about bringing your family to the fights?
Nah, it's not a place for kids. Like my aunts, uncles, mom, dad, wife, whatever. Like grown-ups, I'm all about it. I think that it's real hard to teach a kid that it's really hard without martial arts, without them training martial arts. It's hard for a kid to emotionally watch someone they love get hit in the face and to get bleed or to get choked out or knocked out. Like, I don't want my kids seeing that. It's not a sport for kids unless they're trained and they're okay with seeing it's not violence. It's not like you're out there it's a sport and it's a very violent sport, but it's like you got to make sure they understand the terms of the sport and make sure that they're not thinking it's just a emotional fight, because you don't want to see that out of any kid. But it's a lot to take in, man. Even for me, watching my buddies fight, I don't like watching my teammates fight until it's over. Honestly, like I like to sit there and I like when I'm watching the fights, I go into a different room. I go get on my phone or I go upstairs to my media room and I sit there by myself and I watch the fights. And I don't want anyone talking to me. I don't want anybody asking me questions. I want to watch the fight and then if I can magically think of something in my head that they can hear me or so, I just want to be quiet and watch the fight, and that's it. So it's hard to watch, man. I hate seeing it.
Yeah, that's definitely a wise call. I mean, I can think of probably 4 or 5 fights this year where they're like somebody who I'm watching the fight with is like telling me that like their kids are in the audience and they're like, I don't think this is a good idea. Next thing you know, it like one that really comes to mind.
Yeah.
I think like Sam Alvey had like 4 of his kids like right there in his last fight.
Yeah.
And like then you go to like check the odds and he's like a plus 500 underdog and it's
Yeah.
just like, huh.
Well, I think that my oldest, I kind of gauge it off her because, like, I'm like, well, if she's ready to watch the fights, and I think about it, I'm like, maybe if I had a big pay-per-view fight, and it'd be cool for her to see me walk out, and get in the open. But then my mother-in-law was watching our kids, and she's videoing the girls while they're watching my fight. And my daughter is like turning her head, looking away, and I'm thinking like they're not ready for that. They don't want to see me get hit. I don't want to know they're there screaming, "That's my dad," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I'll come back home, and that's the first thing I do. As soon as I get back, I come straight home every Monday, like the Monday after the fights are over. So.
The walkouts though are so much more epic being there in person. Like that's like the one thing that like feeling the music in there is like so maybe she should just see the walkout and then get out of there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever happen though.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. Sal, do you have anything else, or you want to? I don't want to keep you too long. You've given us a lot of time.
For sure, man.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I was curious, like how many days a week are you currently? Like how are you training twice a day right now? Like,
yeah, 2 to 3 days. I have 3 days, 2 days a week, and I have 2 days, 4 days a week, and then I have a day off completely.
Nice, man. Well, you couldn't have been nicer, and we really appreciate your time. And we're major fans, and you're a great guy. So we're just really pulling for you, and hope for nothing but the best for you and your career.
No, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I appreciate the support.
Thanks, Damon.
Thank you, Damon.
All right, later.
Later. Oh! That was awesome.
For Leon Edwards.
Dude, he is a great dude.
That was awesome, yeah. What a sick dude.
That was the best. That was the best one.
You think?
Yeah.
Short and sweet, that one, right?
Was it? It didn't even feel short.
It was 43 minutes.
That's not short.
That's shorter than usual.
Yeah, but dude, I
mean, it was nice.
I mean, Ariel will talk to somebody for 20 minutes and it still feels long.
Yeah.
He's just not
it's
as good as us.
It's a meaningful 40 minutes.
He's not as good as us.
Nah.
Yeah.
We're the 1-2 punch,
That...
I'm sorry, that was bad.
For Leon Edwards. For Leon Edwards.
Shout out to Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, shout out.
Thank you.
Dude, I mean, what a great guest to end the year on.
Yeah.
To just close out, have a nice conversation.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of meaningful stuff there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It flowed nice.
It was.
Interview. Good conversation. I keep saying interview, but
it really was a good conversation. David, how was it? David upstairs, tell us how it was.
We need David review.
David reviews.
David reviews.
Nice. David said it was good. He liked the length of it. He said talking to somebody for 30 to 40 minutes will probably open more doors for us than an hour.
Yeah, for sure. That was a David review.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
This just in. A David review.
Dude, that's our new segment. We have to get a David review after.
Dude, I
every
love the
interview.
David review.
Yeah, it's the best. Dude, what a year, huh? 2022.
David, isn't he a great guy? That Damon Jackson?
Action Jackson.
That Damon Jackson, Action Jackson.
Damon Jackson, Action Jackson,
Isn't he?
Damon Action.
Yeah. No, we know they're all great guys, but we just talked Damon Jackson.
Yeah.
No, he's awesome, dude. I really I meant what I said. Like, you hear a very lovable voice. Like, when he talks, he's very sincere and kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good
And
interview.
I'm not saying the others haven't been. I'm just saying, like, he reminds me of like a friend that I've had like growing up. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
like not like specific one, but like I don't know. Like, David, doesn't he kind of sound like Palmer? Like, just the way he talks. Does that ring? Do you know what I'm saying, David? We've got a friend Palmer, and he's kind of like got this Palmer essence to him.
We're supposed to just figure out what that is. Palmer.
Yes.
Essence.
Oh,
Cool
thank
guy.
you. David agrees. David agrees. This just
All
in,
right.
another David review.
For Leon Edwards.
From Leo Browers.
Dude, David reviews is a new segment for us.
For real. I need to start like animating it or something.
This is why we need David to be a producer, because David needs to just chime in with like 3 words.
Yeah. He's our New York Rick.
No.
Ariel. He's our David.
No. He's our
Jamie?
No, on the MMA Hour, his name is Frank.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
So
about?
what is New York Rick?
Dude, none
Isn't
of us
that-
are New York Rick. None of us are New York Rick.
No?
No.
That guy's annoying or something?
Or something.
To be honest, I don't watch the parts of the MMA Hour where it's not interviewing fighters. I don't watch the in between.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I don't know. It got a little. It's like a whole other thing now. It's not.
Well, do you know what the reason is?
No idea.
New York Rick.
Oh, he did it. That guy. Are we starting beef with New York Rick?
I would gladly start beef with New York Rick, but
Dude,
I
let's
wouldn't.
call him out right now.
All right,
Dude,
all right.
that's your fight. You know how you're trying to fight someone?
Yeah, dude, that would not go well.
Call him out right now.
That would not go well.
Why not? You got the left hook.
No, for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So why
no.
not? Why not? Call him out.
Because I don't like the idea of taking too easy of a fight.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I
Oh,
want to get a little bit. I want to get a
For
little.
Leon Edwards.
Yeah, dude, I'll take on Leon Edwards. No, I like GC. GC, who Ariel does the bets with.
Mm.
He's a real dude. Like, he's a man's man.
Yeah.
He's my kind of guy. He's somebody I could sit back with and have a nice glass of whiskey with and talk about sports betting.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'll agree with you. I don't know.
But New York Rick, he just
All I know about him is that he got his head shaved by Pablo Costa. That's pretty much it.
yeah, I like that.
That
I
was
like
funny.
No.
Good bit. Dude, you see, he's saying that he's not even signed to fight Rob. Like, he's saying they're
believe that.
lying about the fight.
I believe that.
That they just booked it without his knowledge.
I say book Damon Jackson against Rob right now.
It's let him go up, 3 weight divisions?
I mean, he said he's walking around at 170 right now. He'll be good.
Book it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, let's do a little recap of the year, because this has been the best year.
I mean, it's the birth year of a Fighting Chance podcast. This year goes down in history.
Yeah, let's first of all, just want to say thank you. Thank you to Sal. Thank you to all of the fans. Thank you to Abdias, Sal's father,
David.
who started this. Thank you to David. But thank you more than all of those people. I would like to thank Pablo.
Really?
I want to thank Pablo, because Pablo, when he was on this show,
Yeah.
nothing
A
made
yapper,
me
that one.
nothing made me happier than making him uncomfortable for like the second that I could. Like, it always made me feel, I was like, oh, did you hear what I said, Emily? Listen to Pablo's response. Like,
Yeah.
it was like that. And like, we'd be like at the pool, and I'd be like, listen to Pablo. Like, those were the those
And then
were the
him
highlights
getting
for me.
like every fight pick correct, despite never watching the fights.
I said something crazy one time. Like, I
He's a
remember.
seer.
I don't remember what it was about, but it was something really inappropriate to say to somebody that I didn't know that well,
Yeah.
and who's he's a young kid in high school, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, who am I? I'm crossing the line here.
I mean,
But,
that's what you do, though. I mean, that's the Jared way.
That is.
Yeah. It's
Speaking
what
of-
makes you you.
Speaking of, there's nothing crazier than going to a clip on Facebook or YouTube that says Jared and Eric talking DMT.
Dude,
I'm like,
I made the
oh.
greatest thumbnail of all time. It's like it's you, Joe Rogan, and Eric with like the toads all over the place, and like
Really?
yeah, one of those like those high what is those the intelligent beings like floating in the air.
Nice.
It's probably my greatest work. You guys
That's
should go
awesome.
check out that clip now.
Yeah, it was really fun to lie to Eric about doing DMT. That was fun.
To just blatantly lie.
Yeah. For any of my family members who hear this, I lied.
Are you serious?
No.
okay.
I'm not lying.
I was gonna say like,
if-
whoa.
no, but like I don't know, dude. I've never like once said like, "Hey, I've done." But the thing is, if I said I've done DMT to like any family member who would ever be like, "You shouldn't do that," they wouldn't know what it was.
That's true.
They would have to go look that up, and then they wouldn't even be able to understand what they're reading.
They'd be like, you see frogs everywhere? What's going on?
Oh, David just looked up your thumbnail.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, dude, we just got a new David review.
Oh,
ready for
what
it?
did he say? What is it? Wait.
A plus thumbnail, says
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Wait, no. Do it, dude. You got one more thing to play.
For Leon Edwards.
No, do the applause.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Leon Edwards.
Dude, for whatever reason, that drum roll feels like the longest drum roll of all time.
Yeah, but it's good for the David review.
There's so many sounds that I didn't even know we had. I'm just going to abuse them now.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll probably get copyrighted. Let me not play that one.
I do
But
want.
yeah.
I do want to be clear on something about that episode when I was listening to the 9-minute clip that you have on YouTube of Eric and I talking about DMT.
Why'd
I
you
do
say
wanna
9 minutes like that?
because
There's
it's
something
awesome.
wrong with it?
No,
Okay.
because it's awesome. I do
The
want to be clear.
greatest 9-minute clip.
No. I do have to be clear on one thing. When I say to Eric that I've been trying to convince Sal to have an ego death, when I say that, I do want this to be clear. In no way, shape, or form am I ever suggesting that you do DMT to have an ego death.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I was implying. I do want that to be known. Because,
I thought you were going to
just,
say Sal doesn't have a massive ego that would require an ego death.
I don't
Thank
think
you for
have a massive.
clarifying the other stuff. I appreciate it.
I don't think you
'Cause
have a massive ego.
Honestly, his face in that clip when you say that, he kind of looks like he took it completely serious, and I need to have an ego death or something.
Did he?
He did. It didn't look like he got the joke. He was like, "Yeah, you should try it." I was like, "Okay, I will. I'm sorry." It's like, I'll think about it, bro. I will.
That's awesome. No, I just want that to be known in case, like, I don't know, your parents think I'm pushing drugs on you.
Yeah. No, I think we're good. I think they
just
get
make
it.
Just,
They're smart
just make
people.
it. Just make it.
For Leon Edwards.
Is actually just curious because why not? Besides listening to like Joe Rogan and like other people talk about DMT, like have you ever even like heard of DMT before? Like people like that talking about it?
Prior to the Rogan stuff, no. I've heard of like acid and mushrooms and all that, but the DMT stuff was something that I knew that he was connected to it, but I didn't know about it. Like, I
What,
haven't
with
listened to
Eric or
him talk
Joe?
on with Joe.
Okay.
Like, I knew there was the whole joke about Joe Rogan and DMT, but I didn't know what it was or what it did. Excuse me. You guys talking about? Sorry. You guys talking about it was the first time I had ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Well, now I know you eat like a toad. What is it? Their slime or something?
Well, you could do that, but okay. So it is literally the molecule in your brain that gets released when you dream.
Oh, okay.
So like
Sounds terrifying.
but there's DMT in all of us. There's DMT in every living organism on Earth. Like every blade of grass carries DMT in it.
Dude, so if you eat a bunch of grass, you just start tripping balls.
No, you have to like extract it like in a very scientific
okay.
way. But like, no, but like that's what's so crazy about it is like it's as like a part of Earth as anything, and it's in us, in our brain, and it gets released at night when we sleep, and that's what causes us to have such vivid dreams. And that's why people say like you speak like you go you like witness God like if you do it, or like it's a very interesting thing.
But what's your experience like? Because obviously, like, it's different. It has to be different for you.
Okay.
How
Like,
does it manifest
happened,
itself? Yeah.
What happened when I did it?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I imagine that, like, Eric's, what he was talking about seemed pretty visual. I don't know.
So.
Is it hard to explain?
It's so hard to explain, but I can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
so we were doing it. I was at my buddy's house in Seattle, and dude, it's so, it's such an interesting thing because like it doesn't like it literally lasts like 15 minutes. Like the entire experience is genuinely 15 minutes long, like, and you're back to normal. That's what's so crazy.
15 minutes?
15 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah, and you're literally back to complete normal you. And like, so we'd been doing it, like I was there like for a weekend, like we went to some concert, and I don't know, like he had like an experience with it, but like, and he had like, and like literally like it's like in a little vaporizer pen, like so it's like as easy to like do as like the way you see like everybody like hitting an e-cigarette nowadays. And so we're just like doing it in like his kid's playroom, like blowing it out of a window, and like nothing's happening. Like we're just like feeling like kind of high and like very mellow, very calming.
Are you supposed to hit it a lot, or is it like you hit once and you?
So you're supposed to take like 3 huge hits, and like within like a few seconds, that's it.
Oh, okay.
But they say like hold it in, take 3 hits, basically. And so we were doing it for like a few days. Like just like we even did it. His wife is Chinese. They were having like a Chinese New Year. We went to like her family's house, like, and it was like totally fine. Like everything's just like, I don't know. You're just having really deep conversations, and I'm just like I don't. But they say like you have to like do enough to break through, and like that's when it's like gets pretty wild. But, so we weren't having like any experiences like that, and it was like, oh come on, we gotta go there. And so we tried it one more time, like the last day before I was flying home, and he went in like separately. Like he went into like the room, and like I was just like, I was out in, like their kitchen, like basically just like his child was taking a nap, and I was like kind of just like listening just to make sure like nothing bad happened, or like his child didn't like wake up. And because like it's like literally 15 minutes, and Jake comes walking out of that out of the room, and it was like a completely different person. Like genuinely, he comes walking out of the room, and he goes, dude, go in there right now, and like nothing had been said, like anything even remotely close to this, like all weekend. Like it was basically like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like it's kind of relaxing, and I feel high, and. But he came walking out like he had just seen a ghost. Wow. And he comes walking, he goes, dude, and he grabs my shoulder, like physically, and pushes me in there. And he goes, now, go in. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like standing at the windowsill by myself, and like I'm taking like 3 huge hits. I swear to you, this is where it gets strange.
Right.
My body was picked up and thrown to the bed.
Really?
Thrown to the bed.
And no one actually picked you up and threw you
There's
to
nobody
the bed.
in there. It's just me.
Oh.
And I'm literally in there by myself. And it wasn't like, so I'm like, and they say like keep hitting it, like because your body's gonna start to get really really weak, and you're like gonna like put it down. But they say like even like hit it again, like at that point. So I'm like basically holding up to my lips, and just like, and like my arms like falling. And dude, I swear to you, like my body like flew to the bed. Like it was like I genuinely felt something grab me and throw me to the bed.
Like hands grab you and move you?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. So,
Damn.
so next thing you know, I'm lying there. You immediately start to hear this. You hear a low droning sound, and on top of the droning low frequencies, you're hearing. It literally sounds like your whole body is just shutting down.
Oh, okay. You're malfunctioning.
Completely malfunctioning. At this point, I start to like genuinely see shapes and colors start to like hop around the room.
Whoa.
I'm like I'm in a completely different room at this point. Like I can't tell like where I'm at. I just it was like I went through wormholes, like green wormholes. And now I'm in this like room where there's like all these like hopping lights everywhere. And at that point, my stomach started to feel like it was like expanding, and my head. This is very strange, but it felt like there was no skull, like on top of my head, and that something was performing like a medical procedure on my stomach and my head.
Oh.
And I was like lifeless, like lying there, and there was like something and like a little person standing, I swear to you, standing next to me, performing this procedure on my stomach and my head. And I'm just like lying there, and it, like I said, I was thrown to the bed. So it felt forced. It felt very aggressive. It didn't feel like this, whatever was there, I wasn't like comfortable with it. But at the same time, there was nothing I could really do about it.
Right.
And it was so interesting because like when I talked to my buddy about it, he was like, that same thing was with me, but it was like communicating with me in a very like peaceful way. And I was like, oh, I had a very different experience. It was very violent with me, and then started basically having like a medical surgery on my gut.
This guy's kind of an asshole.
Dude, it was really wild. Like it was when I the feeling that I had about it was like it was studying me.
That's weird.
Yeah, like literally it was like it's hard to say what I feel about it, but what I genuinely do feel about it is these are entities from somewhere else, whether they're alien-like, whatever they are, but they're collecting information, and that's what I feel. It's another dimension that's here, and it's of some force that is collecting information.
And you're just tapping into it, kind of.
Well, I was the information. They were collecting information from me.
You don't mean this is like? Do you mean like there's a secret dimension that we're not seeing and that activates, or just that's what you were coming up with in your head?
No. That we're not seeing that you can activate and tap into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's always there, and that's the microscope of how to see it.
But how are you supposed to just like live life after doing this? How are you supposed to just go back to let's wake up and eat waffles for breakfast?
So that's why everybody calls it like such an ego death, because it really puts those like the things that seem so big become much smaller. Because like the significance of like something like that, it's like, because I would genuinely tell you like that idea, that moment, even though it was like 5 minutes long, before I felt it, it felt like something. If I were to think of that moment, I would say that's impossible. Because I was totally awake, I was totally myself, I was totally fine, and I'm lying there unable to move, hearing like a droning low-end frequency, and dude, I was hearing gadgets of like somebody was literally studying my brain.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, but like I get what you're saying. Like, how do you wake up and just go about your day? Like that's.
Yeah.
But
sounds terrifying.
my experience wasn't like the most pleasant thing, but like I don't know, it wasn't like it wasn't bad either. And
you did it again after that, or that's your one?
I've never.
Like you tripped and that was it.
Yeah, that was the last time for me. But it was like one of those, like I tried it like 4 times that weekend to be able to break through, to have that experience, because like you read people's stories and they're just like, what? That's nothing like what I was feeling until I felt that crazy moment. And I don't know. It's dude, I gotta feel everything once.
Have you heard of I read about this, it's called salvia, and
Dude, salvia is crazy.
I heard like one of the stories was this dude, he took it and basically like lived a whole life in Atlantis. Like he had a wife and kids and a family and he grew old and all that. And it was like 5 minutes.
I when I first moved to California, cuz salvia was legal in like every single smoke shop like when I was growing up. Yeah, dude, salvia is like it's a burning like incense. And so when I was growing up, like I had friends like in Florida that were like, yeah, I smoked salvia once and like saw myself like riding a bicycle in the clouds. And I'm like, what? And then so when I moved out to California, it was legal at the smoke shops out there. And I had a buddy who came to visit me, and we were like walking down Hollywood Boulevard and went to a smoke shop, and they had like 5X, 10X, 15X, all the way up to 40X salvia. So we're just like, all right, we'll get the 40X. And, and
why not?
And we went back to my the apartment that I was living at, and like it was just a 2-bedroom apartment where we had bunk beds and a bed in one room so three guys sleeping in one room, and then my dad had his own room right in the next room. And so we tried it. My dad's like in his room, which was also his office where he was working. And like I had no idea like what it would feel like. Like I'm very comfortable with like smoking weed, and I'm just like, okay, it'll be just like that. Dude, you take a hit of this thing, and within 2 seconds of exhaling it, I said, take this away, like I take this bong away from me. Like those were the only words I could get out of my mouth before the entire world just completely shifted. And like everything just, dude, I'm like creepily like walking to find a chair and like feeling around the room. I'm like, and I got myself to a chair, and I'm sitting there, and I just like, the only thing that I could think that was even remotely normal was, if my dad walks out of his office right now, he's going to look at me like I have 10 heads. Like,
oh my God. Because,
dude, you don't feel, it feels like you're in another universe. Like it is.
I've seen videos of people on it, and they look insane. They just.
It's crazy, man. Like, in the fact that this was like illegal, like, because so many drugs will break through like a little loophole and become legal because of something not like something about it not getting detected by like the regulation, and that's what makes it like, because they'll sell it as something else. Like they were selling it as like an incense, but people were just blasting off with this.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is like that people talk about like mushrooms and acid and stuff. That mushrooms like aren't going to make you hallucinate like you're in a cartoon world. Salvia totally will make you, like, everything that you see around you will genuinely change.
That's terrifying. That's very terrifying.
Yeah. No, I would. I'm not gonna say I
Don't
would
do
never.
salvia, kids.
No, I really wouldn't. Like it's such a shock, dude. It's such a shock to your system.
It could kill. Like there's deaths off of salvia, right? I'm sure that could trigger something that make you freak out to the point where you die or something.
I would think so. I would definitely think so. But I would. My honest point is, anything that is that intense that happens so quickly with no buildup whatsoever, because like if you like like mushrooms is like, oh, like it takes like an hour of it, like the process of getting to the point after you eat them. Salvia and DMT hits you so like within 2 seconds you're in another universe. That's insane. So once I get your video game, like, right, totally. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
Nice way to just end the podcast on that.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, but this I guess that's what we do here, you know? That's what we do.
We keep it. Dude, I honestly was thinking about like top 5 moments of the year, and I think Damon Jackson against Pat Sabatini has got to be one of them for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a top moment.
That's got to be a top moment. Like, just with the emotion and the way that fight went down, that's a top moment for me.
Yeah, that's what puts it over the top. It's not like he went and got a decision or something. Like he put out a real prospect quick.
Dude, you know what I love though?
Uh.
So when he's being interviewed, like right after that fight, and they're like, you know, you put out a real top prospect. He goes, I'm a top prospect.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He goes, yeah, he won 4 fights in a row, and I won 3, and now I've won 4 in a row.
Dude, my favorite part of this interview was because, like, every time I asked the fighters this question, I'm, like, preparing for them to say that they don't like fighting.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do you like fighting? He's like, yeah, I love it. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Just bleed. It was awesome. It's like, I like this guy. This guy
No,
rocks.
but, I mean, dude, he was just getting home from wrestling practice or
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah, he had, like, a giant bruise under his eye. That's whole life is fighting. And it's pretty sick.
He had a giant bruise?
Yeah, under his, it would be his right eye.
Gorgeous.
But dudes get bruised in camp all the time. But
Um,
yeah, pretty sick
dude,
year, huh?
I'm willing to put this out there. I think any of his daughters could kick your ass.
Probably, yeah. I wrestled for like 2 weeks, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
I was hurting and like, yeah, because I'm bigger, so I had to go with the big guys. They just beat you up. They beat you up. It's bad. I didn't make it that far,
What weight class?
but I
would
have
you
a
cut down?
ton of respect for wrestlers.
What weight class would you cut down to, Sal?
They were telling me I'd have to fight at like 205 or 190-ish. But I don't know. Or I could have fought.
How tall are you?
Huh? I'm like
How tall are
5'10",
you?
5'11".
Dude, we could get you down to 185.
To 180, yeah, I could get down. It's just they have people filled out for those spots already. So like what was open was like 205.
Oh, you had to
And-
wrestle 205ers?
I would have had to wrestle and really 205ers are like 240. So
Right.
but yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting experience. April 16th, 2022.
What was that?
The start of A Fighting Chance.
Really?
Episode 1. The OG episode 1.
And how many views does that have?
47.
Really?
Yeah, we live streamed it, so I guess it got a lot of views.
Really?
Yeah. But
Interesting.
maybe one day we'll release those. We'll put them behind a paywall. The OG Fighting Chance episode.
Wait, so they're not out?
No. We restarted. We don't talk about our past, our dark past.
Dude, then there might be a chance we could get Mackenzie on.
Yeah, because she won't know anything that we've ever said. Hey, I was a Mackenzie supporter. You guys were the haters. I don't know about
I've never once.
that. Dude, I recall like not even 5 episodes ago, you were like, I do not like Mackenzie Dern.
The best is in the Mark Goddard clip that you made. When you say it's well documented. That's my favorite. Yeah, dude. I mean, eventually, you know, when this show pops off the way we know it's going to, we're gonna have like reviews of all of our favorite clips that we've made.
Oh, for sure. We'll do fight companions too. I know I want to do that eventually.
Yes.
Next year. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up next year.
Fun
sure.
stuff. It's already been fun. And
Oh, super fun. I mean, dude, think about like if you go, say September, and you're like, we're gonna have Renato Moicano, Mike Davis. By this point, Slava Claus is gonna be out, and Damon Jackson back to back to back to back.
and
I mean, I would have been
And?
like, what?
and Mauricio.
Oh, and Mauricio. I'm sorry, and Mauricio Gomez. Yeah. I mean,
Come on.
I would have been like, nah, you're lying.
Well, that's what that's why I've been starting like 3 of the episodes off by saying that I didn't know this was ever going to even happen until like episode 300 or so. Like,
Yeah, dude.
I'm very grateful for the legwork.
In comparison to other podcasts, not to put other podcasts down, but
Put them down. Put them
we're on
down.
a pretty good. We're on a good start, you know. I mean,
Dude, other podcasts are a joke.
we're 16 episodes in with like 5 pretty major. Not 5. How many? Marcio, Eric. Yeah, 5 pretty sick guests. You know.
Yes, I agree. I mean,
I know how to end this off.
Nobody does it. Nobody does it better. Nobody.
For our guys that support us right now, that have been here from the beginning,
the jump.
We're gonna tell you who we want to have on the podcast by this time next year. Our goal interview, our conversation.
This time next year.
Yeah.
You go first. Well, you really just put me on the spot.
Yeah. You're good at this
All right,
stuff.
this time next year, give me a drum roll.
Let's see.
This time next year on the podcast of A Fighting Chance, the Fighting Chance podcast, also known as, we will have Joe Rogan as a guest.
Oh.
These nuts.
Yeah, dude. I like that one. I like that.
Yeah,
goal.
I like the idea of Joe Rogan being our guest. I also like the idea of like Lex Friedman being our guest.
Let's just go for all the top guys.
Yeah,
Just
all
get
the top.
everybody who's like notable.
Dude, well, think about it, man. They're running a big production. Wouldn't it be nice to kick up your feet and just come on a good, classy show?
I like that. But what about a fighter? More specifically?
Okay.
You want another drum roll?
Please. This time next year on a Fighting Chance podcast, I will guarantee my man Salvador is going to book these 5 guests.
Oh, 5. We got a list.
These 5 guests are going to be booked by my man Sal by next year at this time.
For Leon
Sorry.
Edwards.
I clicked the mistake.
We're going to get Leon Edwards.
Flowers. I was going to save it for my pick and use the sound, and I goofed it. Yeah. Flowers.
We're going to get Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
We're going to have Sean Strickland.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have I got a good one. One here.
Yeah. You want me to chime in?
Yeah, chime in.
I want Angela Hill on the podcast.
Yeah?
I want
Dude.
Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
El Kukui will be on the podcast.
Anthony Smith. Jamal
Hill. Khalil Roundtree.
Dustin Poirier.
Alexander Volkanovski.
Eve
everybody.
Edwards.
Eve Edwards is a savage. I would get Eve Edwards on.
There you go.
Yeah. Dude, I thought you started watching in 2020. You know Eve Edwards?
Danny Sabatillo.
Rafion Stotts. We'll have both of them on. Yeah. Dude, that's another thing I want to do next year. We definitely should start covering other organizations, and there's still great fights out there. And getting more amateur fighters on, spreading the love,
Sterling. Aljamain Sterling would be
You're
great.
like, I don't care about other organizations. Just stop, bro. You're not Ariel. Yeah, Sterling. Aljo, I want for sure.
Oh, dude, we could get AJ McKee on. How about that?
And his pops. We'll get.
Dude, I love his pops.
Yeah. Dude, Adrian Yanez. I really want Adrian Yanez on the podcast to talk about Dr. Pepper.
Dude, I want a drum roll for this one.
Oh, snap. This is the last one. Let's see.
It's my last one. Rampage.
Dude.
That's
I
who
like
I
that.
want. That's who I want.
So he can just make fun of us the whole time.
Dude, I would love that so much. He'd be like, boy, what are you doing being blind watching fights? Like,
Dude, I'm gonna really try to get Rampage on now. That'll be my goal for this next coming month.
Dude, I cannot wait to debate Rampage on why it's okay that I watch fights.
Yeah. And then talk to him about DMT. That'll be our thing now.
Oh, man, I got one more, but you don't have to do a drum roll for it.
Go for it.
For Leon Edwards.
I'm sorry.
Dude, we need Gilbert. We need Gilbert Burns. But
Gilbert Burns.
Seriously, man, this would be just a dream of mine. Brenda Schwab.
Brenda?
Yeah.
You want the Schwab on here? He'll just agree with everything you say. He'll initially go against what you say, and then as soon as you say something else,
All right. No, that was. I mean, come on. I would actually like to talk to Brendan Schaub. Like he seems like a.
why
he
not?
Seems like,
Let's
he
get
seems
everybody
like,
on the pod.
Yeah, he seems like a human. But
I want
would,
Theo Vaughn on the pod.
Dude, I would love. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Chael.
Oh, that might be
Chael-
the guest of the year.
Dude, for Chael to come on here and just hold court with us for 40 minutes and we're just like shooting the shit and he's just like basically a scene out of a movie. Because he is larger than life.
Dude, and he'll be in his set, his iconic set with his legs crossed, saying the most absurd MMA take with full confidence. 'Cause I love Chael P.
Talking about Alex Pereira.
Yeah, Pierre. Oh, dude, what was Sean Strickland and his in his post fight? That's I was gonna bring this up earlier. He keeps calling Ion Kupalabra.
Dude.
But like he didn't just say it once. He said it like 50 times. He kept saying Kupalabra.
He goes,
It's
where the fuck is he from? Moldova?
Yeah, that guy's an angry dick. Kupalabra.
Yeah.
But I love him.
He's like, he's an angry cunt, but like,
Yeah.
he goes, but then he shows up with his daughter and he's like, he's a good guy. Like,
Yeah. You gotta love Sean Strickland.
he is fun.
He'll be a good episode on here for sure.
Yeah. But I think we
You
can
two
get
will
Sean.
hit it off.
Dude, honestly, I'll say this right now. After Sean loses this next fight, we'll be able to get him on pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's like 2 or 3 fights away from being cut, we'll be able to get him on. No, I think
tell your story.
I'm actually very excited about that fight. I know this will be out after
Yeah.
that fight happens, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. That whole card is going to be great. It's
Dude,
a nice fight, nice card to end of the year.
Is it true that Kamaru needs hand surgery and
Dude.
Jorge Masvidal is going to be fighting?
I'm so happy about that.
Jorge's going to be fighting.
I'm so happy about that.
Jorge's going to be fighting.
Oh, sorry.
For Leon Edwards?
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, that is gonna be a masterclass like we've never seen before.
Of Leon Edwards?
I'm all for it. Everyone's like, oh, Bilal should get the shot. Bilal should get the shot. I do not want to see Bilal fight for a championship at this moment. I think he still needs to beat some more people. You know, like no disrespect to Sean Brady, but he wasn't a top 5 guy.
So you think Jorge deserves it more?
No, but I want to see Jorge get beat up after what he did in London. I think Leon deserves his revenge. And that's way more marketable because that's an easier win for Leon in London. And then you do Kamaru 3 somewhere else.
I'm excited that he's going to get paid, you know? Like
Exactly, yeah.
Good money, get an actual title shot or a title
Masvidal's
defense
still
in
a
there.
draw. He's still a draw.
Big draw, and Leon will have a nice. I'm not gonna say it's an easy fight. Like nothing's an easy fight, but
No,
at the
of
same
course
time,
not.
it's a very winnable fight.
And that's an entertaining fight too, because you know they'll just stand.
Right. It's a
Unless
winnable fight.
Leon does mix in wrestling nice, but we'll see. I'm excited about it.
Dude, he took Kamaru down in that first round like it was his job.
It was awesome. That was so awesome. I love that fight. I still watch that knockout all the time.
When you told me you'd seen it like hundreds of times.
I have.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
All right,
But,
man. Well,
56 subscribers. Hell of a year.
Ooh, make a prediction. How many subscribers will we have 1 year
100,000.
from
100,000. I'm confident.
now? What?
I'm confident that we will have 100K followers by this time next year. Confident. Book it.
All right.
Mark it down in history.
For the record, I'm the one who did DMT, guys. Dude, these are goals, man. That's a good goal. That's a
Why
big
not?
goal.
I mean, this is very doable.
You think so?
100%.
Wow.
Dude, I think this podcast is going to be big. I believe in it.
Wow.
And you should believe in it too.
No, don't. Now you're saying.
No,
that
I know. No, I know you lower your
I'd
expectations.
be happy with like
actually.
25,000. I'd be happy with 10,000. I'd be happy with 8,000. I'd be happy with 1,000 subscribers next year.
Well, yeah, obviously, but I'm saying like a goal, what we're gonna hit eventually would be 100K. Obviously, I'd be happy with 1,000 or 50K,
Yeah.
but that's not where I'd want to stop. You know, I wanna
No.
spread this.
No.
I think
The
next
thing
year.
is,
Year's a
thing
long
is-
time.
dude, what's crazy about exponential growth is once you hit 1,000, 5,000's closer, 10,000's closer. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like, it could very easily we're 50K mid year, and boom, we hit 100,000.
it's like a desert, and like when the wind starts to pick up.
This time next year, we'll be sitting here with a 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube.
And that's when we'll have to start paying our guests.
Dude, that's it. That's how we end it. That's perfect.
Boom! Mic
Thank you
drop.
guys for tuning in this year and supporting A Fighting Chance.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Please,
Yeah.
please subscribe if you haven't already. Please spread the word to your family, to your friends, to your pets. Please like. Please, ring that bell for notifications. And we really appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of A Fighting Chance journey.
Oh yeah, it's the best. We'll see. Oh, that's the Christmas
It's the Christmas one. I hear bells. I hear
I'm
bells,
sorry.
damn it.
one. We will see you guys next year.
Happy New Year!
For
Happy!
Leon Edwards.